this session. Now, before moving towards the topic, children, I would like to ask you one simple question. Simple question is, children, what are your basic needs for sustainability over this earth's surface, or what are the basic things which you need to sustain to live on this planet? Children, you will obviously tell there are three basic things. We need to have food, we need to breathe in this fresh air, and we need to have shelter, isn't it? So these are the basic things. Let's talk about the air in which we breathe in. That is already a natural component, a natural substance which is given by earth, and it is in abundance. Now, when we study social science, we have different branches of social science to study different scenarios, different systems. For example, if we talk about the political system of the country from the past, we are studying in history. Similarly, studying our surface of earth, we are studying geography, and now economics, the new subject which we people are going to have for this session. Let me give you a basic introduction to the topic, to the subject to the subject economics. Children, economics is that branch of social science which emphasizes on two things. Number one, what we human beings are dealing into three different activities. That is A, production, B, distribution, C is consumption. Something which is produced obviously is not going to be stayed at that place of production. It has to be distributed. Now children, see the channelization. Production, when production is done, it reaches distribution. Distribution, when that production is being distributed to different centers, after that distribution people are going to purchase it. Therefore it talks about consumption. Children, we humans who are purchasing different goods, different commodities in our day-to-day life are being termed as consumers in this specified branch of social science, which is economics. So the first emphasis is being put on the three stages: production, distribution, and consumption. After this, the second point of emphasis in economics, which we are going to study further, is that what are the basic needs for the survival of human. That is food, clothing, and shelter. Of course, fresh air to breathe in, but that is a natural aspect which Mother Earth is giving us. But food, clothing, and shelter, all these three things are compiled together into that second phase of the study of second part, a different branch of social science, that is economics. So in economics, basically we are going to study two aspects. Number one, the chain of production, distribution, and consumption, whereas the second aspect, which talks about basic services of food, clothing, and shelter. Now when we see that our basic needs are fulfilled, how society is feeding itself. Society is anything, a group of people living together at a place, that is termed as society. So for a society, we need to live also, into that society. So for the essential part of living is food, clothing, and shelter. We need to have food to sustain life, we need to wear clothes, and then we need to have a shelter. We can't live like animals in open. So after fulfilling the basic needs of sustainability, that is food, clothes, and shelter, we look after the different services in this sector, like transportation, banking sector. All these services are helping us in our day-to-day life. Yes or no, children? See, in this crucial time of lockdown, children, the bank sector, the medical sector, all these services which are being rendered to help us, yes or no, to help society. So all these services, children, are still open because they are the essential part of our day-to-day life. So when we see that in a society, children, our basic needs are fulfilled for food, clothes, and shelter, then we look down to second criteria of our needs, which are termed as different services like banking, transportation, communication services, isn't it? See, without transportation, we can sustain. Without communication, we can sustain. Communication services, but without food, we cannot. Without shelter, we cannot. Without clothes, we cannot. So there is a stepwise channelization of utmost importance to lesser importance. But yes, in economics, we are going to study all these things. Now, once we get to know that what we are going to study in this different field of social science, which is termed as the subject geography, economics, in this, how we are going to start with. Once we are aware of the subject economics, now how to start with? Therefore, to start with this subject, to introduce this subject, we have chapter 1 as Palampur, which talks about the story of village Palampur. This Palampur is an imaginary village, children. It is not an actual village in India. This Palampur is being referred here in this chapter as an imaginary village, and all the activities which are going on in this village are being explained here to make us aware of the basic steps of production, isn't it? The basic functioning of a village. What do we see that people are working in a village, isn't it? For example, if we talk about a village, or whenever we get to hear a word village, hearing to this word village, we get to assume different conditions. Big farms, people are working over those farms, isn't it? Bullock carts, kacha roads, huts. We all have that mindset for these villages. But is this Palampur village actually associating with your assumptions? Let us see how. For this, now we need to start with the chapter 1, which is a story of village Palampur. Let me read this overview for you children to make you clear with what the chapter is going to talk about. The purpose of the story is to introduce some basic concepts relating to production, and this we do through a story of hypothetical village which is called Palampur. Now, the purpose of introducing this chapter in this book is making us aware of what all activities are associated with production and what are other activities apart from production being going on in this village. So to understand basic activities for production, we have created this hypothetical village which is known as Palampur. Children, then I ask you one simple question, that children, if you see a village, you answer what kind of work are the men of that village or the women of that village are engaged into. We all will randomly and very quickly tell this answer that they are doing farming, they are doing agriculture. We all know that India is an agricultural country, children. And in agricultural country like ours, 69% of our population is engaged in agriculture. So to understand this factor of agriculture and the base from where we get the huge production which is being distributed all over the country, we need to understand those basic parameters, those basic steps, how our country's farmers are working so hard to fetch us with these day-to-day daily grains, daily staple food, vegetables, fruits, etc. So let us begin with the farming of this village Palampur. Farming is the main activity in Palampur, whereas several other activities such as small-scale manufacturing, dairy farming, transport, etc. are carried out on a limited scale. Children, before making you understand this line, let me give you one example. There are two places, village A and village B. Village A is having people occupied into just farming. They don't have any other source of production, no dairy products, no transportation, well transportation system. While village B is well developed which has so many facilities like dairy farming, then transportation, animal husbandry, then livestock rearing, transportation, isn't it? So different types of natural resources are being extracted and they are turned out into useful resources. Which, then my question is, which village is more developed? You will say the advanced village is village B. Why? Because we tend to see there are so many activities apart from farming going on. Children, before starting with this video, we all have sent the PDF for the chapter. I'm sure you might have gone through the chapter. You must have noticed that village Palampur is not just having farming activities, children. Village Palampur is well equipped with other activities like dairy production, then transportation, then animal husbandry, then small scale industries and some medium scale in manufacturing, from pottery making to basket making, weaving, etc. Children, these are clear signs. These are clear signs of knowing, of telling us, basically letting us to know that Palampur is not a backward village, it is an advanced village which is ready to adapt new measures of improvisation. Now, these production activities need various types of resources, natural resources and man-made resources. For example, if we say that jute making industry where jute bags are made, then will that jute is going to land over that village something with magic? Then for making jute bags, these people, these workers need to have jute ready to be with them. For that jute availability, they need to grow jute. So for that jute production, of course, farming is being done. Now, where natural resources, man-made items, human efforts, money, etc. are involved. So I told you that production of jute bags into this village Palampur is possible because of availability of jute fabric. For that jute fabric, production of jute has to be there. Therefore, it is telling us that natural resources, for example jute, man-made, which is us, the humans who are working over to make that jute into jute bags, then different items, human efforts, whose efforts are being put into to derive those jute bags, that is human efforts, and money, of course, to spend. Children, to spend money, and then only we are able to set up a small scale of production, then only we are able to have this set of production. So money is very important in terms of setting up or establishing a center for production. We need to invest first and then we can have the sources of production, isn't it? Now let us see further. Farm activities, children. Now once we get to know that Palampur village is a hypothetical village where we need to see different activities. The first kind of activity, children, which we are going to see in this village is farm activities. Now farm activities, social science always has its meaning in itself. Farm activity, if you break the word farm, farm talks about land, agricultural land where farming is done. So farm activities are farming activities. All the activities which are associated with farming, sowing, plowing, harvesting, threshing, all the activities which are involved in farming are termed as farm activities. Now, before introducing the farming activities, if we have farming activities, we do have non-farming activities in village Palampur. So non-farming activities, anything which is not associated with farming, for example, transportation, dairy production, or which is animal husbandry, pottery making, weaving, All these are activities which are not associated with farming are ultimately termed as non-farming activities. So after knowing the village, its introduction, then we get to see that what kind of activities are there in village Palampur, farming and non-farming. Now we come to the introduction of the Palampur village. How village Palampur is being introduced in the chapter children. Palampur is well developed and connected with neighboring villages. Children, what are the signs which show that Palampur is a developed village? This is your homework. You have to mention in 2 lines answer what are the signs which are showing that Palampur is a well developed and connected villages. So many hints I have already given it in this video, but the complete signs which are showing that Palampur is a well developed village, you need to mention in that comment section so that I can go through your answers and see whether you have actually studied the chapter or not. That is my humble request. Please read the chapter till where I have taught and just find it out what are the signs which are telling Palampur is a well developed and a connected village with neighboring villages. Number 2. Second point of introduction to Palampur. The story of Palampur is an imaginary village that will allow us to know about farming well, how well farming is being taken place. There are 2 types of activities in village Palampur: farm activities, non-farm activities. As we have discussed earlier, farming activities are those which are connected with agricultural activities, and non-farming activities are those which are apart from, other than farming activities, right? Now let us see organization of production or factors of production. As we are studying economics, we need to go through the base. We need to clear our concepts with the base so that we can step high and higher. So organization of production, which is also known as factors of production. What are those different factors, children, which are leading to a different set of production? For any production in any place, what are the different factors which are compiled together and which are resulting in a big production? The first requirement for any production is land. Anywhere you cannot have production. Can you run a factory of processing wheat grains on air, flying somewhere? No, you need to have that land, you need to have that base where you can set up that process of production. So land. Number 2, labor. Then if you have a big farm, you have well fertile soil, isn't it? But you have good quality seeds also. If you don't have any labor, who is going to sow those seeds into the land? Who is going to reap that crop then? So labor is also a very, very important factor of production. After land, we have labor. The third requirement is physical capital. Physical capital, capital which you can invest in. Capital is an asset. So physical capital, like you have to spend money, which is physical capital. Then apart from money, you need to have different machines, tractors, threshing machines, different machines which are being used in this process of production. So all these are termed as physical capital, something which is tangible, which you can see, concrete, physical capital. So physical capital is comprised of, children, 3 parts: fixed capital, working capital and human capital. Now let us discuss these 3 capitals first. For example, you need to have a land for which you need to grow wheat crops, alright, every alternative. Now for that you need to have one good land for production of wheat, which should be highly highly drained and which has high productivity, isn't it? So the land should be fertile basically. So number 1 requirement, first factor of production, which is land. Second is labor. You have land all set, then you need to have labor who is going to work over that land, right? Now labor is also ready. Now capital. Okay, I have one land which is ancestral. I have small piece of land where all my family members are going to work over. So children, my land is ready, my labor is ready. Now what happens? From where will I get seeds? I don't have money. From where I will purchase seeds? I don't have money to have tractors. I don't have money to have threshers. I don't have money to buy manures, fertilizers, pesticides. How am I going to do further work? There comes the importance of capital, children. This is the third important factor of production, which is capital. And therefore, children, the capital is also divided into three parts. Number one, fixed. Number two, working. And number three. Now, children, let us recall all the factors of production once again. Land. Land is the first requirement, and other natural resources such as water, forest and minerals. Now after land we have labor. Some activities require fully qualified laborers and workers. Some have higher educated workers to perform necessary tasks. Some activities require only workers who have physical capacity, but in every aspect, in every activity, labor is very, very important, very vital. Now, the physical capital. Now, physical capital, which has three aspects: fixed capital, working capital and human capital. Let us see the fixed capital. Children, tools and machines range from very simple tools such as farmers plow to sophisticated machine is called fixed capital. The sophisticated machines include generator, turbines, computers. So all these are fixed capital. For example, capital is something you need to invest in. So fixed, once you have fixed these capitals, they are going to work for your total process of production. After this we have working capital. Children, after this working capital which talks about money. Money in other sense, where you are investing, working, from where you need to start with the work. For example, you are purchasing high quality seeds, you are purchasing pesticides, you are purchasing. So all these transactions, all these purchasing power, these are talking about working capital, which are floating in the market. When money is floating in the market and you are ready to purchase these articles which are necessary for the process of production. And children, third is the human capital. Under the heading physical capital, the third is human capital. We, as an entrepreneur, we are investing. We are the factor of production, because unless and until our mind was, convinced, unless and until we as an entrepreneur were convinced that we are going to start up this factor of this process of production, we were not ready to have a land, we were not ready to hire workers, we were not ready to purchase those machines. So it is only the deciding factor which talks about us. Thus the three factors of production, land, labor and capital, where fixed capital talks about fixed capital, physical capital talks about fixed capital, working capital and human capital. Now children, after completing this much, I would request you all to go through the chapter once again. Just go through the points which we have discussed. Just try to understand what we have discussed in today's class. And after that, you need to answer to my question in that comment section, where what are the signs which are showing that Palampur village is a well developed village and is connected to neighboring villages. After this, I am going to attach a copy of small brief notes which you are going to look forward. Thank you so much for paying attention and listening to me. Hope you all have a great day ahead. Bye bye. Take care. Goodbye.